Good morning. Good morning. It's time to start our day. Good morning. Good morning to you. All right, we are going to hit the mat today. So, as I said, we are going to be definitely using blocks and blankets. If you have some weights, some 2 pound or 3 pound weights, the really, really light ones, perhaps you'll use those today. If you don't, maybe you'll go get a can of soup, 2 cans of soup. And if you are on the recording, I pause the recording, literally go get them and then come back. Those of you who are here live, you already know. And let's find our way over. Finding our way to our mat. Oh, goodness. Loving it today. Loving our practice. So I brought 3 blocks. And as I've said before, there's different sizes to blocks. And if you're a committed yogi, meaning that you really love your practice and you know it's something that you're going to keep doing consistently, I do say invest in these props because it's not that they make the poses easier. They just help you stay with integrity so you're really getting the benefit of the postures. So do invest in the props, okay? If you don't have them, then 2 blocks or 2 pillows and a blanket or something, or a pillow, something you can use for your head, okay, your noggin. All right, so let's come in, and find a position that feels really comfortable to you today. And maybe you'll take a moment to settle in, always going to the same posture, and then maybe I want to try something new today. I did a lot of walking over this weekend, and I can definitely feel it. So finding a posture here, take your time to find it, settling in. And then when you're ready, let's turn on that inner gaze, that inward glancing to yourself, to the deep layers of you. There is a Rumi poem that I really love, and I don't have it memorized, so you can look it up. But it's basically this idea of there's a field out way past the wrongdoing and the right doing. I will meet you there, right? I will meet you in that field, way past the chatter of what's good, what's bad, what's right, what's wrong, all that. There's a field out there, my beloved, and I will meet you out there. And that's, to me, what the inner gaze feels like, is all the chatter, all the doings, all the actions, all the stuff, all the injuries, all the aches, all the pains, physical, mental, emotional, all of that is true, right? But there is a field, there is a spot, there is a place that's out past it all. And my inner gaze takes me there. So for 1 minute, please, perhaps you'll meet me in that field as well. 1 minute, please. Beautiful. And the second minute of our 3 minutes of centering, our second minute is I'd like to invite you to imagine that you have a beautiful, tiny, tiny little baby in your hands, in your arms. the little skeleton, the little muscles, the little tissues, little eyes, little mouth, little nose, little fingers, this beautiful, healthy, precious, precious child in your arms. And it's you. It's you. This is you. And you're just holding it here. You're just holding it in your arms. So we can keep our arms down in our lap. But for this next minute, I'd like you to envelop you, almost wrapping yourself up with your thoughts, with your imagination, like this little precious baby, holding your skeleton, holding your soreness, your injuries, your pain, physical, mental, emotion, all of it, just holding yourself here for 1 minute as we settle in on our intention. So on the second minute, hold yourself dear, sacred. The bones of your body, the muscles of your body, the breath, the cute little eyes, your cute little fingers and toes. Just hold yourself in awareness as the precious, sacred being that you are, just as you are. And then third, this final centering minute, please take whatever you want to do in this minute. For me, what I'd like to offer and invite you to do is that field, right? That field where it's beyond all the chatter. That field is how I'm going to approach the practice today for myself. I'm going to just be in it, just being spread out in it. But for you, maybe it's something else. Maybe there's something that you need from our class today, something that brought you here, something you need or ready for. So for this final minute, we're going to settle in on our mantra, our sankalpa, our 1 or 2 word phrase. For me today, I am going to settle into the intention of I'm going to be in the field of presence, of just presence. I'm beyond a physical body. I'm beyond a mental body. I'm beyond a intellectual chattering doing persona. I'm more than that. And I want to lean into my practice today to sort of touch base with my spirit world or my intuition or however your God space, some people feel, whatever it is for you today. Okay. So settling in on your intention, what brought you to the mat today, and how are you wanting to show up? Today, for me, it's falling in love, being in a field of truth, abundance, and spirit. And when you have it, whenever that is, let's bring our palms to touch, slide them down, bring those thumbs right onto your heart space here. Notice that my forearms are parallel to the floor. So I'm getting a little bonus action stretching my forearms, pressing the pads of the fingers together, little pocket of air between my palms though. There's like an arch to the foot and there's an arch to the hand. I want to honor that and just honoring myself and the time that I've set aside, this community of people here with us today, and also those who are watching the recording, just feeling into this moment here that we're here in now. And welcome yourself to your practice. Beautiful. Dropping your chin to your chest, open your eyes. See those cute little fingers. Them are some cute little fingers. And then releasing down and then finding your way out of your spot. Let's just wiggle around a little bit. Just wiggle around. Just check and see how you're doing. Just moving any way you want to. Yes, we have those physical bones, right? We have that physical body, the skeleton of ours. We have these muscles of our body. And this body of ours has really told the story of our life, right? It tells the story. It's the roadmap to our thinking. And so we get to use our yoga practice. I'm going up to down dog now. We get to use the practice of yoga to really realign, recalibrate, maybe sort of ease some of these habitual patterns we get stuck in. We have to do it 2 steps. Number 1, we have to notice what we're doing. We have to be able to go in, really go in to it. 1 or 2 more deep breaths. When you're ready, come on down, come on down, come on down, and pause. Okay. So as I said, today's going to be slow moving. It's going to be slow moving, and we're going to start off slow. We're going to come into fish pose. So I'm going to go medium. I like the medium. Remember, there's the small. Well, there's the small, there's the medium, there's the large. Decide what you want to do. I'm going to do the medium, and then I'm going to have a pillow for my head. If you don't have a third block, you could be using a little stack there. As always, and just watch here for a moment, we always want to have the forehead and the chin level. So just watch me for a moment, because this is a very common, I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say mistake, but we have the head crunching, right? And just know that you're doing that mindfully. That is a fish pose. I mean, that is sometimes what we want, but in this, we do not want that. So you want your forehead to be slightly higher than the chin. And you want to get really comfy, really comfy. You want to be able to put your arms out to your sides. And depending upon how much your chest feels open here would be dependent on how high up those blocks could be. So finding a position that you can feel really comfy, cozy in. And those of you who do take the classes through the week, this is our focus. We're going to be doing a lot of work with this awareness this week. Take your time to get cozy. Take your time to really set it up. Make it nice and comfy. You could choose to take your feet wide and lean the knees together. You could choose to extend the legs out straight. That puts a little bit more of a back bend down there, depending upon what it is you're needing. I'm going to give you about 5 more breaths here to get settled. And once you do, we're going to move into total stillness. So you want to be moving yourself in a position where you can find stillness. You want to be moving yourself into a position where you can find total stillness. Beautiful. And now finding a position where you're going to hold it, even if you want to be moving, you're going to hold it as best you can so that we can go inside, right? The wrongdoing and the right doing, we want to go beyond that, just to the field where we could be spread out. Just let it be. Go ahead and bring your pointer finger and your thumb together. That's Jnana Mudra, knowledge mudra. We're sealing up our knowledge here. We're recycling it. We're deepening it. We're bringing it in and focusing on the muscles of the face, relaxing here. We're going to start to tiptoe into that sleeping baby's room, right? We don't want to go in too quickly because the baby will wake up. So we want to tiptoe gently into looking at our breath, not so fast that we startle it. We're not trying to force it or make it anything. We just want to notice, how am I breathing today? So we're going to spend a minute meditating on that. We're not trying to do good yoga breath. We're not trying to create an equal rhythm. We're not doing anything. We're just watching the preciousness, this life force that flows within. 1 minute, please. Perhaps you're noticing that it's irregular today. Perhaps you're noticing that it feels a little weak or a little shallow today. That's okay. You know how I know it's okay? Because it's happening, right? No mistakes there. We're just sitting with it, and it's okay. 1 more minute. Just watch your breath. Let it be whatever it wants to be, and it's okay. 1 minute. Challenging not to do anything different. Let it be what it is. Just watch the wildness of you. What did you notice here? Did it change? Was it the same? On our third and final minute here, if there's any physical adjustments you want to make, you want to come down or you want to go up a little higher, make your adjustments. We're going to go 1 more minute. 1 more minute, and this time we're going to be creating what we call the Samavriti pattern. In other words, you're going to be using your breaths this time. You're going to be using them to spread out that sac, right? We've talked about This connective tissue holds a lot of our patterns. It holds a lot of our habits. It's not the muscles that are inflexible. A lot of times it's the connective tissue. So we're going to massage it from the inside. Let those breaths be deep and let them be even. Inhale for 4 or 6. Exhale for 4 or 6. Inhale for 4 or 6. Exhale. We're not doing this because it's the right way to breathe. We're doing this because it just nourishes this sweet baby, right? This sweet baby that you are. One more minute. Sama-Vriti breath patterns. Here we go. Deep, deep, deep nourishing breaths. Yana Mudra with your hands. And here we go. Two more breaths. So beautiful. And when you're ready, we're just going to gently roll off to our side here. Just take your time, rolling off, and then gently pushing yourself up. Push yourself up. And just pause for a moment. Maybe you'll wiggle it out. We're going to reset. This time we're going to take our blocks again. You can go low or medium here. And you're going to line them up where you have, a little bit of space, and then here, and then maybe you'll have a pillow for your head. You see this space between there? I'm going to come to my very edge of the block. Okay, right under this is actually a really nice area to get on your therapy balls with. That's a stink bomb right there. So we're going to put that right there, and then you're going to have your little pillow, and maybe you'll have a bigger pillow than what the one I'm using here. And we're just going to hold. It's going to hold. Please notice that my left arm is not on a block. It's just hanging there. We're just going to hold there for a moment. You can take your arms together. You could take it up and over your head. Whatever you want to do, we're just going to hold. We're going to see if we can breathe into our back right now. Do you feel that the body of yours, that physical bag of bones and that physical muscular tissues and structures that you have, do you feel that they're being supported by these props right now? Almost like a bag of water, right? Like you're a bag of water and you're just anywhere there's not a prop, you're just sort of sliding out. I hope this isn't offensive, but our dog Sugar, we kind of tease her because she's just like a bag of maple syrup. She just like when she wants you to rub her belly, she just falls and rolls herself into, I mean, the boys joke that she has no core. I mean, she's just a bag of syrup. She's just a snuggly bag. And that's kind of what I'm wanting you to feel right now. You're just a bag of syrup. You're just sweet and sloshy. Doesn't sound very complimentary, but I mean it to be. There's nothing wrong with being sloshy. You've seen how cute Sugar is. It's okay she doesn't have a lot of core. She's lovable. Just let yourself just spill over these props here. About 5 more breaths. Two more big breaths, letting yourself be just spilling over. Okay, now we're about to come out of this posture. In order to come out, I want you to push your right hand down and push up, letting your head come up last. Okay, flip a ruby. She's such a great dog that when my alarm goes off and I'm not ready to go, she'll like lay back down and like go ahead. She's really the best dog for us. Okay, same thing. You're bringing your underneath the armpit here to this block. You've got your prop. You're coming on the edge of it so that you have enough room, because I know some of you might even want to turn the chest to the sky a little bit. Some of you might feel like you want to take your arm up and over and spread out these intercostal muscles. You do whatever it feels like is the best syrupy for you. Those of you who have neck stuff, I mean, just holding your arm down here by your side gives you a little bit of a bonus. And just enjoy this surrender. This feeling that you're supported and held, and you don't have to do a thing. You're just being held here. Precious things, precious sweet people. Go to the field, past the right doing, wrong doing, past the labels, past the expectations. Just let yourself be in the field, spilling out, spreading out. Many of us, almost all of us, just compound our stress and our doing, right? We just build on it every day. We start it and get more and more and more. Today, I'm hoping we just spill it out a little bit, come back to more of a neutral, more of a base. About 3 more deep breaths, still feeling like you're spreading out that connective tissue with your breathing. 2 more deep breaths. So good. So good. And come on out. Okay. Now we're going to go to our back. Our back. Finding equal space on both sides. You're pressing into your ribs evenly. You're pressing into your feet evenly, your shoulder blades evenly. You can take your arms out nice and wide again. We're just going to gently drop our knees to the right. Just notice how that feels. Feeling yourself filling up with air. Today's practice is not doing, but being. It's really challenging for many of us. As I said in a couple classes ago, if you go sit somewhere and you watch people
body language, most everybody leans forward. Everybody wants to attack the day, wants to get to it. Can you lean back? Can you lean back? I was asking a student the other day, what is mindfulness? She said it's a big perspective. It's the ability to see a big perspective. That's what this is right now. We're leaning back. We don't have to do a pose. We don't have to do something in order to get the yoga. We can lean back here a bit. And if it's really challenging for you to do, which it is for me, it was for me for many years, that's the practice. That's the balancing for you. Let's go 5 more breaths. See if you can really lean back here. Just be here now in that field past the right and wrong. Do you have an urge to get quicker, to move more? Do you feel like you're itching to do something? Watch that thought and lean into the field. Big perspective here. Beautiful. When you're ready, come on up. Reshift anything that got out of whack and then drop the knees to the other way and go exploring here. What's different? What are you noticing? 8 breaths. Lean back, feeling so super held here in this moment. There's nothing to do, nothing to do, nothing to do. Move the breath. Shh. 3 more breaths. And then come back to your neutral. Just receive. Notice what happened for you. Notice if you're living in the front part of your body, what does it feel like to go into the back? What does it feel like to breathe behind your spine? I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. Three more deep breaths, please. Beautiful. All right. Now take your time, be very slow moving. And I want you to watch me and then I want you to do for yourself. Okay. So I'm going to show you the most challenging first and then we'll back it up. So we're going to go back to where we were at the beginning, where we have the low. I'm going to go low just so you could go medium if you want, but I just want to show you. So we have the low and then we have a pillow or another block. Now, if you are doing weights, I want you to be super careful because you can get hurt doing these things. And so you want to be really, really mindful, especially if you're like me and you're like, let's do something fun. Let's do something, leaning back,
leaning back. So I'd like you to use very small weights, 2 or 3 pounds. These are fives, but I've been doing this a while. So, but 2 or 3 pounds, maybe even a can of soup. And I want you to notice we've been talking about this area here between the shoulder blades, and we've been talking about how, so many of us hang our heads if this gets really atrophied. It gets really tired of holding up this head. And so we've been talking about keeping this area strong. Okay. And then we have that mirror curve down here. We'll talk about that in a minute. So just watch me for a moment first. Okay. The first thing we might notice is what it feels like just to have the weights in our hands as we go back to this. I want to go quickly. Okay. So here we have that. We're going to spend some time there. Some of you, when I pull my arms up, please watch this very carefully. When I pull my weights up, the first thing I have to do is I have to pull my core in. I have to hug this in, establish integrity as I'm lifting up, pulling it in, pulling it in, pulling it in. Even if I'm not wearing a weight, I'm still actively pulling it in, hugging the shoulder in so that I'm not using my little tiny subtle areas. I'm using those big gross muscles in order to keep myself in integrity. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to pull these arms in, and all we're going to do is keep the shoulder blades focusing on that mat where we're keeping them level. We're going to take the arms up, and we're just going to do a little bit of stuff like this. We're going to play a little bit, doing some motions with our arms and these weights or not, right? We could pretend we're still getting all that work as long as we're moving from the core and not from these arms and legs. Okay. So if you're at all scared about, like, I don't know if I'm good for that, don't do it. Just do it without. You're still getting a lot of benefit. Some of you really are wanting some deeper work. So that's who I'm talking to with the weights. But many times I do it without, and I still get lots of good stuff. So first, come back to your fish pose. Make sure your forehead is higher than your chin, and bring yourself into a nice position that you can sustain. Pull the belly in, establish the tops of the arm bones, pulling to the floor, and either imagine you're bringing your arms up or really bring your arms up. Walk those elbows in, and now you've got a 90-degree angle with your arms. Your breathing is deep. Take a big inhale through the back, through your backside, and exhale, push your arms up. One, and then pull them down, touch the elbows, and push them up and pull them down. Let's go 6 more times. Now, do you notice that one shoulder blade goes higher, it lifts off the mat or off the blocks? See if you can keep both shoulder blades plugging into the mat like they're Velcro down. Let's go 3 more. Breathing is super deep. 2 more. Velcro those shoulder blades. 1 more. And pause. Does this feel like it's something you want to be doing? Do you feel like you should come off your props and be flat on the mat? So I want you to keep integrity here. We're all at different levels. And so going past the right doing and the wrong doing, go into the field that you feel safe. Okay. Second round, now we're going to punch. Okay. So just watch me for a moment. Turn your head and look. We're going to take and turn the palm towards the kneecap. And I'm going to just punch to the left side. And I can feel my right shoulder blade still going to be hugging in. And then I'm going to bring it out. And then I'm going to punch again. And then bring it out. Either I'm doing this with or without my weights. Here we go. 8 times. Mindful awareness, everything is from the core. You're hugging in that belly to keep the integrity. Your breathing is calm. Two. And pause. Tuck that elbow towards your ribs and then just tuck that arm down. We'll switch a ruby.
Turn the elbow out, the palm facing your thighs, push it up and punch and down. How does it feel on this side? Again, we're trying to notice the area between the shoulder blades, bringing some strength there so that when we do tip our head over and look at our phones, right, or look down at the keyboard, we have some strength there so that we're not getting really fatigued or straining those muscles. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Keep them down. Bring both elbows to your ribs and just hold the weights or your imagination here. Now this one, I want you to really zip up your pubic bone again. Maybe you're not on the fish pose. Maybe you're flat on the back because it feels safer to you. If you feel like your core isn't, if you feel like a little syrupy sack in that core today, like my dog Sugar, then maybe you're not there on the blocks. For me, I feel like my core is strong, so I'm going to stay here and just watch what I'm going to do now. I'm going to bring my elbows up to my ribs and I'm going to pour the gallon of milk here. So I'm going to imagine I'm pouring. I'm going to imagine I'm standing up and I'm pouring. And I'm just going to reach these arms up and then squeeze them back down. So we'll do 8 of those. So find your level. And here we go. 8. Velcro those shoulder blades. Feel that neck stem. 7. Instead of thinking about shoulders and arms, I want you to think about your core, that field inside of you, that place that you could really find that depth. And 3. And 2. And 1. Good. Pause. Release your weights or your hands and pause. So when I did this for myself, I did 3 rounds of those sorts of actions. Okay. So I did 3 rounds. I did 3 of 12, but we just did 8. So maybe on your own, you would do those sets again, but we're moving from the core, not the shoulder hinge. Okay. So let's take a pause here and just receive that work. Beautiful. Taking your arms to the sky again. I dream of Jeannie arms. We're going to put elbow on, hand on elbow, elbow on hand. And we're going to be holding this for a long time. Now I want you to bring those shoulder blades back to the mat, or if you're still in fish pose, and we're going to hold 3 sets of 45 seconds. So I want you to really be pushing hard. The shoulder is in its socket, so we don't want the shoulder blade lifting. We want it to be snuggled down inside that block or the mat. And we're going to hold. Here we go. Pushing firmly. Shoulders are on the mat. Go. 45, 44, 43, 42, 41. Feel yourself fatiguing, but really engaging. 20, 19, 18, push harder. Keep relaxing. You're really relaxing though too. You're doing both. You're going in the back side of your body and the doing. 10, 9, 8. Keep relaxing as you work. 5, 4, 3, 2. Look at arms on top. Open, touch your elbows down. And then switch. Other arm. Here we go. Push. 45, 44, push hard. Shoulders are on the mat. 43, push hard, long neck. Relaxing on the back side of you, strong on the front side of you. 20, 19, 18, 17, push harder, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, soften, 4, 3, 2, beautiful. Drop your elbows again. Notice how that felt last round. Now, depending upon your body structure, some of you could bring your elbows and your wrists to touch. Okay, if that's optional for you. If it's not, maybe you'll go back to the I Dream of Jeannie arms. Okay, everyone else, we're going to try to touch our elbows and our wrists together with the elbows right over those shoulders. So this would be like a dolphin arm. Here we go. Find the shoulder blades to the mat. Both of them are spreading evenly. Maybe the thumbs go to your forehead, and we're going to hold, pressing the elbows together and the shoulder blades down. Ready? Go. 45, 44, 40. Deep breaths. Relax, ooey gooey, the back of you. Let it be really relaxing. Warm syrup on the back, but very dynamic on the front. Belly lock is on, arms pressing. 20, 19, 18. And 5, 4, 3, 2, beautiful. Relax. Let's take 5 breaths and just receive. Just feel yourself spilling out over the props if you're on them. Beautiful. All right, let's come off ourselves here, off the props if you're on them. If you're not on them, maybe you'll go into happy baby pose. Yogi choice, you could go into happy baby pose, or some of you may want to just have a little bit of an inversion. You would go to the same pose with the dolphin arms and take your bottom to the sky. See if we can release that neck a little bit. Those of you who have that neck tension today, this is a very, very therapeutic position here. We build some stability in our shoulder girdle so that that head can hang free. Pushing those wrists down, squeezing those elbows together just like we did. If you're in happy baby pose, maybe you're rocking side to side. Three more deep breaths wherever you are. And 2 and 1. Good. Everybody now come on over to hands and knees. So deciding what you want to do, maybe you'll have a block. Maybe you'll put your head on the block or your forehead on the block, sitting back into your child's pose, turning your head if you can. So this is a pretty deep neck stretch. For those of you who felt really stiff in the neck and shoulders, this may not feel like where you are. So you can always just take classic child's pose with your forehead down. If you can, turn your head a little bit, see how that feels on your neck. We did a lot of stretching in the neck 2 weeks ago. You could always go back to the portal, the membership portal, and do some of those classes, remember, throughout the week. Just noticing the breath. Noticing that bag of syrupy syrup just pouring out onto the mat. Those of you with the turn of the head, go ahead and switch to the other side. If you're on your forehead and you're doing child's pose, maybe you'll do puppy pose where you shift your hips over your knees. So it's a little bit more dynamic, or maybe you go up to downward dog. Another 5 breaths. Beautiful. All right, let's roll it over again. Roll it over. Okay, finding a position that's comfortable. Now we're going to say hello to our hips. We're going to drop the knees to the left. And we're going to take our right leg and kick it just like we were doing our punch. Feel that outer hip punching. Bend the knee, open, pull the belly in, and punch. Those of you working deeper could perhaps take your arms out wide with the palms facing down and really hold yourself here. We're just going to play. Close the hip and punch. Close the hip, open the hip, and punch. Just play with that a couple of times on your own. Remember, we're moving from that belly, from the core, not just the arms and the legs. You could go all the way down to the floor if you feel like the twist is what you're seeking. Just play here. Ooey gooey, surrendering out past the wrongdoing and the right doing. There is a field. I will meet you there. Let's see if we can meet ourselves there. About 3 more, please. Leaning back into the tissues of your backside. How do you do that? By breathing. Beautiful. And when you're ready, come on back to center, and we will just take a moment to pause. Check in on that second side, dropping the knees to the right, kick, open, twisting, kick, and kick. So today's class, I'd like to be sort of a diving board for you. I'd like you to play with some of these movements where you're really trying to move from the center, right? From the center. It feels like you've got your own back. Feels like you can start to explore, just like a baby, right? The baby knows that it's being held in your arms so it could wiggle as much as it wants. It has no idea that it could be dropped. It never even questioned it. It just knows that it's being held with such nurturing love. And so are you. So you're just finding the integrity of being held, this surrendering, loving quality, so that you can reach and stretch and move in ways that you're moving from the core. Take about 4 more times. Beautiful. When you're ready to come out of that, come back to your neutral, back to your center, and we'll bring both knees up to the chest and find a happy baby here. Maybe you'll rock side to side. Maybe you'll find a twist. This is a lot of the stuff we'll do the next week and on the retreat this Saturday. Okay. So take your time here, and we're going to end today with coming to a meditative posture here. So find a position that feels really, really comfy for you. Whatever that means to you. Maybe it's sitting on your ankles. Maybe it's crisscross applesauce. Maybe it's using some blocks. Whatever you feel like would be what you need. And sitting up nice and tall, I want you to lean back a little bit, almost like you're leaning on a wall. Slight drop of the chin towards your throat so that the back of your neck is nice and long. And we'll turn our palms up, please. And we're going to turn on the inner gaze here. As we close up our class today, turn on that inner gaze. And again, scanning your physical body. Maybe you have tension somewhere, the neck or the shoulder. Maybe you feel a little constipated. Maybe you have a pinch in your knee. Just notice the physical structure. And pulling back that curtain, noticing your inner body, the breath. Is there something you can do with your breath right now to calm those waters? Lengthen it, perhaps. Focus it into some spots that you need it to be, perhaps. Anchor your mind watching it, perhaps. And on this final minute, as you sit still and as you watch the long inhale and that long exhale, let's go back to the beginning when we were pondering that we were holding, cradling our little selves, cradling our skeleton, our muscle, and our little sacred, precious baby in our arms like we're holding ourselves. I'd like to offer you this last minute, this meditation, that this here is you holding yourself in all of the good and the bad, the tightness, the stiffness, the injury, the worries. All of that's true too. But for this last minute, you can hold yourself in grace and in love. Okay? I invite you to do that 1 minute here, just imagining you're holding yourself as the precious, sacred baby you are, just as you are today. Taking another breath or two here, finishing this, and then finding a position where you can really soak in it. So taking your final Shavasana, getting into a position that feels comfy and cozy.
your time to get there. So that's what we're going to be focusing on this week is how do we do yoga from a sense of deep love and okayness with wherever we are, right? We're not doing yoga to get better. We're not doing yoga to heal, right? We're doing yoga as if we are already beautiful, precious, loving, sweet, whole. And this is what we do to remind ourselves of that. Okay. So take your time and maybe again, you'll do some of these sequences more, a couple more reps. Maybe you'll go back and you'll look at some other videos in our portal. And as always, it is a true honor to do this work. And it's because of you that I get to do it. Thank you so, so, so much. Deep bows to you all. And namaste. See you soon.